Okay, so a while back on this blog post here on Geek Estate, I said I was going to do a video review of several mapping IDX solutions out there, and took a lot longer than I expected, and the video is a lot longer than I expected, but I finally got it done. Now, let's talk about why I decided to do this. A lot of people think, map search. Is that's so a couple years ago or 10 years ago? Aren't we all about indexable IDX now and mobile friendly and apps and what else? Is map search still relevant? Well, I think it is for several reasons, and I'll show you why. So now your market may be different, but let me just demonstrate a search example here. In our MLS, our agents can type anything they want when they list a home and list a neighborhood. So let's say you want to look for homes in Morningside, the neighborhood of Morningside in Atlanta. First of all, you got to make sure you spell it right. Agents may have it listed as Morningside, Morningside Johnson's Estates, Morningside Lenox Park, Morningside Addition, Morningside Druid Hills, Morningside Park, Morningside Virginia Highland, Morningside Midtown, Morningside Woodland Hills, Morningside / Virginia Highland, etc., etc., etc. So on your typical search, if you just type in Morningside, you're going to miss a lot of listings. Now here's the other thing. You can see this on a map search. If you did type in Morningside, well, there's neighborhoods named Morningside in Powder Springs, Calhoun, Alpharetta, McDonough, in addition to the one in Atlanta. So if you just type in Morningside on a search that's not map centric, you may not notice that, and you may get listings outside the area that you're looking in. The other example is condos. In our area, Midtown is the big area where there's lots of condos. But you can't just type in Midtown because the condos as a neighborhood, because the condos aren't listed according to their neighborhood, they're listed according to the condo name. And there's probably dozens and dozens of condo names, names of the condo complex in Midtown, and your buyer's not going to know them all. They just want to say, show me all the condos in Midtown from this price to that price and this beds and that bath, etc. Well, if you don't have a map search in our area, there's really no way to do that. There's no substitute for saying, okay, I know where Midtown is. I'm going to start zooming in there, and then I can adjust my price and go from there. On a non-map based search, there's really no substitution for that, the way our MLS is set up. Now your area may be different. Sure, you can do zip codes, but the zip codes don't have the same boundaries as the neighborhoods. And your buyer who is in a position to where he knows the neighborhood that he wants to live in, and he knows where it's located, and he or she are going to zoom right into that area, that's a buyer who's a lot closer to the buying, to actually buying, versus somebody who's just searching Atlanta homes for sale or typing in a city and a price and beds and baths. So for these reasons, I think maps are still relevant. There's definitely a place for a simple non-map based search. That's probably the first thing people want to do, is they type in an area and a price range, and they want to look at pictures, the photo results, more than they do on the map at the beginning. But I think in the later stages, when people are more familiar with the area and they know the area that they want to drill down in and actually buy, I think a map search is key for that. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so this is HomeQuest. Now this is only available in a few cities: Portland, Phoenix, Seattle, and Boise. But I wanted to review them anyway because I think they have one of the best map searches out there. So this is their map, or an example of one of their maps.
The thing I like about it, number one, it's full widescreen. I like that. But the thing I really like is the neighborhood boundaries. You'll see here all of the neighborhood boundaries are depicted. You can hover over them, they light up, and you can easily choose one and see all the listings in that area. Now, you can also opt to have area boundaries. Let's say, I know I want to live in Portland City Center, but I don't care which neighborhood. So it's just a different opportunity to search that way. Zip codes. If you know the zip code you want to live in, you can do your boundaries that way. And schools. It's got middle schools, elementary schools. Excuse me, I'm having a hard time here with the mouse. And it's got those boundaries for those school districts. So how cool is that? So let's go back to neighborhoods and say I want to live in downtown Portland. Click on it and the listings will display. Now my initial thought is, well, it should automatically zoom into that area, but there's a reason it doesn't, and that's because you can choose more than one neighborhood. So you want to maybe click an adjacent neighborhood and search in there as well. So let's zoom in, take a look. Okay, another thing I like is as soon as when you hover over the markers or the icons, you immediately get the thumbnail and the details. You don't have to click on them. That's a pet peeve of mine because it's very fast to just look over the map real quick and find what you're looking for. They have different colored icons for, I believe this is for price reduction, the green here. And check this out. You got restaurants, things that I guess this agent has blogged about, and they show up on the map. Now how cool is that? So it's kind of like having your amenities map built into your IDX, which is super cool. Okay, now let me show you another thing I really like. A lot of IDXs have walk score, but they have it on a per listing basis. It might tell you when you look at a detail of a listing, it might tell you the walk score, and maybe you can bring up a walk score map. But this thing does something a little different. You can do an overlay of the walk score on the entire map. Now, how cool is that? So you can really quickly see, let's say you're not familiar with the area, you can quickly see which areas are the most walkable and choose that way. So that is super cool. All right, so I've told you most of what I do like about this IDX. Let me tell you a couple things I don't like. Over here on your left, once you've searched neighborhood, these icons, these thumbnails, I should say, are tiny. I would rather have a larger photo in the list view. What I do like, excuse me, what I do like is when you hover over it, it automatically shows up on the map where that listing is located. There, go back to here. So real easy when if you're a type of person who wants to look visually rather than looking on the map, you can quickly see as you're hovering down the list, if you like that list view, where it shows up on the map. So I like that. I just wish that their thumbnails were larger. And then when you click one to get a more detailed view, even that photo is super tiny, and there's no option to get a large photo view. So that is something I don't like. But their map is outstanding. I wish a lot of other IDX providers could learn some things from these guys. Now, while I'm here, I'll show you a couple other things. Let's go look at one of their neighborhoods. Just to show you, it is an indexable product. You don't have to use just the map search. So like, here's the neighborhood page, and they have embedded listings right on your neighborhood page, and those are indexable. And when you click on them, you get a larger detailed view than you did on the map search. And you can see, let me move this down You can see it's got a SEO friendly URL, and it's got the title tags that are SEO friendly. Get that back up there. And the H1 tags as well. So it should be a good SEO friendly indexable IDX. And on this view, you do have a larger photo view. So that's cool. And this is a WordPress plugin, this indexable portion. I just wish that on the map you could get a larger photos. Other than that, it's pretty much, I think, one of the best mapping IDXs out there. And like I said, I wish that other IDX providers would learn from what HomeQuest has done, because I can't get HomeQuest in Atlanta. Only in those 4 cities, and I even asked them, I said, hey, I'll pay to get you guys to come to Atlanta and get you guys certified with my MLS, but they wouldn't do it probably because we have one of the most difficult to work with MLSs in the country. But anyway, so that's HomeQuest. Really good map search. I liked it. Okay, this next site is a Curaytor site, and Curaytor is not really an IDX provider per se. It's more of a lead generating system, somewhat like a Boomtown. Includes a lot of other things than just the website. It's not, you can't just go pick up their IDX off the shelf and plug it into your site, as far as I know. So may not really belong in this video comparison, but I want to do it anyway because it's a very good looking map search. So let's jump in here. I like the menu. Go and hit search and it'll bring up the map. So here's their map, and again, it's a large, full widescreen display, which I like, and it has the best of both worlds, having your listings in a list on the right as well as on the map. And these thumbnails are very large photos. I like it. Also, when you hover over them, immediately on the left it shows you where that listing is on the map. So I like that. In reverse, though, what I don't like is you don't have that hover over the icon and get the, you have to actually click on each icon to get the preview. Not the end of the world, though. Very nice display. There's a location box up here that's autocomplete. Start typing and it completes it for you. And you got your filters up top. And now let's look at a detail view. Gives you a sign up squeeze here. You go ahead and sign that in. So on the detail view, it really sort of opens to a photo viewer, color box type photo viewer. And that's as large as they get. And when I first came to a detail view, I thought, well, where's the details? Because I think, well, this is just a color box photo viewer. How do I close that out and view the details? Well, turns out they're down here if you scroll down. Seems like they should have made this a little higher so you could at least see this title of the address along with the photos at the same time. But other than that, it's an attractive display, and you got some lead generating calls to action in the contact form, and it shows you nearby listings which you can click and jump over to them. Go back to the search. So anyway, that's a Curaytor map. Very attractive. It's too bad I can't just buy this IDX and plug it into my site. I think you have to buy the whole Curaytor system, like I said. But if you're looking for something like that, this is a very attractive one. looks very good.
A couple more things on the Curaytor. One more thing that I don't like and one that I do like. First is I'll go with the don't like. If I want to change these filters, let's say I'm changing my price range, and I put in a new price range. Nothing happens automatically. There's a few map searches out there that as soon as you change the filter, the map updates without you having to do anything, and I like that. Nothing happens when you change these filters. You have to go over here and then find a button that says Apply Filters. And I don't know if that's that intuitive for somebody who maybe hasn't been to this search yet. If they're just adjusting prices, the button is not visible. They have to go under another drop down, then they click Apply Filters before those filters are applied. So minor criticism there. On the plus side, mobile responsiveness. I didn't talk about that on the HomeQuest site. Their site doesn't seem to be, or their IDX I should say, their map search doesn't seem to be mobile friendly at all. I tried adjusting the screen size, and I actually tried it on my iPhone and wasn't able to get it to work at all. But this Curaytor site, you'll see as I start to adjust the screen size, you'll see it adjusts with me, and once it gets to a point that it thinks it's too small to show both a list and the map, then it'll just disappear the list like there, and it'll just show you a map only. And I think it's below the bottom of my screen capture here, but in fact, let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, gives you a button at the bottom to load more listings, and when you do select it, a listing to view, actually let me go all the way down to let's say like a simulated iPhone screen. When you do select a detail view, it shows up to be a very nice, here again is the sign up screen, very nicely adapted for a mobile view. Of course I'm actually on my computer here, so I can't touchscreen, but on my iPhone you can actually swipe these photos right to left to view the photos, and then everything down here is aligned properly to look good on a smartphone screen. So kudos to them. One of the few map searches I've seen that actually is very good, shows very good mobile responsiveness on many different size screens. Okay, so this is DS Search Agent by Diverse Solutions. I'm very familiar with this one because this is the one that I currently use on my site. So this is how it looks standalone if you just go to the URL that they give you. You've got a header on top with your information. Now when you embed this into your website, that header will disappear. So for example, this is, well, if I can find it, this is how it looks like embedded into my website. And you can control all these colors so it matches, it blends in well with your website, the colors, whatever colors you're using. And the width of the map will actually scale to the width of the theme that you're using. Let's just show you real quick. If I were to look at a property, all these colors are colors that I chose because they match the colors that I use in my theme, and you can choose those colors yourself to match whatever colors you're using in your theme. Also, it gives you a full screen option right here, which will expand the size of the map search, so basically beyond the restraints of your theme. So like this theme, I don't know, let's see here, it's about 1250 pixels wide. Let's say you have a big screen monitor, you want to use even more than that. Just click full screen and it'll utilize the entire width of your monitor, which is a really nice feature. Okay, so let's see what this map search can do. There's several different ways that you can initiate a search for properties. First is to use this, they call it an omni-box. It's an autocomplete box that will accept locations via whether they're a zip code or a neighborhood or a community or a city. Any of those you can type in here. You can also type a street address or an MLS number, and it'll give you autocomplete suggestions. So let's say I want to start searching in a neighborhood. So I can start typing a neighborhood name, choose it from the list, and the map immediately zooms right to that area. I like that. Then you can start narrowing down your parameters, your price, and the map immediately updates to those parameters without you having to press any button or anything. As soon as you change those preferences, the map updates. Now, there's one thing about our area that makes you want to use perhaps a different search method. And let me reset here. Let's say I typed in Brookhaven. Now Brookhaven is a city inside the perimeter of Atlanta, but there's also all kinds of neighborhoods elsewhere in the state that use the name Brookhaven, and so you end up not getting exactly what you're looking for. So I think a lot of people like the ability to just start zooming in on the map instead of typing in a name and maybe not getting what you're looking for. And that's not a problem with Diverse Solution, that's just a problem with our MLS. Agents can type anything they want for the neighborhood, and there are typos and all kinds of other things. And like I said, the same name of a neighborhood is used in maybe 4 or 5 different cities. So another option, or a better option, a lot of people like to use is to start zooming in on the map to the area that you want to live in. And the map immediately starts updating and listings start to display. And again, once you get to an area that where you want to live, start adjusting your parameters, and you can either type them in if you prefer to do that, or you can just move the slide bars and immediately the map updates to match those parameters. Lots of different choices here, and you can choose, I have on mine set up so just price, beds, bath, and property types are displayed above the fold, we should say, and then below that there are other features where you can add on. So for example, one of the cool features is the search by radius, and you can either type in an address or you can click use my browser's location, and it'll do a circle around your current location. Or let's say you want to say want to live close to my office. So you can type in an address and it'll draw a circle around that address and show you all the listings that are inside that radius, whatever radius you choose. Now once you get your area narrowed down and your prices or your other parameters set, you can click View Results. And this way you get a list view along with the map. I'm always a fan of map searches which show you the map and the list at the same time. A few of those I showed previously are also that way. I hate when you get only a map or a list and not both at the same time. And this gives you the best of both worlds. And if you just hover over any of these properties on the list, the thumbnail pops up over on the map showing you the information about that property. So you can search here visually on the list and then see on the right where that property is located. Or if you prefer to zoom in on the map, you can do it that way as well. Just hover over the marker and immediately the listing shows up, the information shows up. And when you click on one, then you get the detail view.
and it's a nice large detail view, and you can even click to see even larger photos, and it's very fast to click through not only the different photos of a given listing, but also from one listing to another. Like, one of the things I like is once you're zoomed into a geographical area that you like, and you're looking at listing detail views, then you probably want to be able to toggle from one listing to the next very quickly. You know, look at one, move on, and you have the previous and next buttons up here. You don't have to go back to the map, select another one, then look at the detail view and go back and forth. A lot of the other map searches are like that. Even though the first two that I reviewed, HomeQuest and Curaytor, are like that. Once you get a listing view, if you want to see another listing, you got to go back to the map, pick another listing, back to the detail, look at it, back to the map. That's a little tedious. With DS Search Agent, once I get into that geographical area, I can just click next, 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 till I find one that I want to really look at. So I like that a lot. Down here, below you got your photos. This one only has a few photos. It's a lazy listing agent. Here's better. You have your basic description, then you have further details. You have a bird's eye view, which you can change to a regular map if you want. You got a Google Street View. Back on the details, you have a walk score option. See how walkable that property is. Takes a second to load. Here we go. Look at all the restaurants that are nearby, coffee houses, etc., grocery stores. That's convenient. It'll also show you similar listings in the area that are priced close to this one, that are similar in other parameters. And it'll show you the nearby school districts and schools, as well as their grade school ratings from gradeschools.org. This one also takes another second to load, and here they are. Speaking of schools, let me go back to the map for a second to show you that. Go back to the search. When you're on the map, you can select map statistics, and you'll see the average and the median price, lowest, highest, median price per square foot, all kinds of great information about the map area. Schools, you can show the school districts, or you can actually show the schools themselves, their locations on the map. And there they are. Hover over them and it tells you what school that is, what grades they are, and the grade school's rating. So that's pretty slick. And of course you can select the type of map: terrain map, satellite, hybrid, or the default Google map. Okay, let me reset the search here to show you one more feature, and that is, well, let me X this out. Polygon search, and the user can just draw lines wherever they want, search within that area. So that's another pretty slick feature. This one takes a second to load. I'm on a hotel Wi-Fi, so it's not the fastest connection in the world. And it zooms right into that area, which I like. Automatically zooms into it. And again, you can narrow down your parameters and look at it in a list view if you'd like as well. Lead capture, a couple ways here. First of all, you have save search. And when you do that, it brings up a registration page. And you can choose questions that you'd like to ask the person. That's your option. And another thing I like is the social login. People don't want to fill out a form, but if you click login via Facebook, it's a one-click sign up. And boom, you're signed in without having to fill out any forms. And I click save search so I can give this a name, and automatically it's set to email updates for that saved search. And similarly, if you're looking at a detail view, if you click schedule a showing or ask a question, if you weren't signed in, it would prompt you to do so. And if you are signed in, it just gives you a contact form. The information for the property is already pre-populated, and you can select a schedule a showing date, and all that information, of course, gets transmitted to you via email. It also has the ability for the user to write notes on a particular property, save it as a favorite, print it, or share it. And all of those prompt you to register if you haven't already. So a very feature-rich map search. It does a lot of things. Things I'd like to see that it doesn't have are things like HomeQuest, which has the neighborhood and zip code and school district boundaries. You can search by school district on here if you know the name, but it won't plot the geographical area of the school. It won't plot the boundaries like HomeQuest will. So that is a feature I'd like to see. Another thing, this is not an indexable product. Diverse Solutions has an indexable product, but they don't really work together, so to speak. They're sort of separate. They work together in some sense, in the sense that if you have a saved search in one product, you can access it on the other product, but they're not tied together. So you basically end up having to buy two products and sort of work with them both. This screen size will adjust itself to different size screens to a certain extent. Primarily this is designed to adjust to whatever width your theme is on your website, but it's not designed to actually be mobile optimized. In fact, let me just show you. You can see like these words, once they get to a certain size, they turn into icons. And if you're looking at a detail view, that also scales itself to the width of your website, but to a certain point, about right to there, and then it doesn't really work very good after that. But it's not going to actually work on a mobile device. In fact, let me change my user device here to, let's say, an iPhone or an iPad, and what it does is actually they've got a separate product. It comes with it, but it's a separate display, and they call it the Search Agent Mobile. And if I were to switch this to User Agent iPad or mobile device, it redirects to a different interface. And this one, it's a mobile-friendly interface. But what it does is I'll just show you what it can do here. Same deal. It's got autocomplete. You can display you got your basic filters there. You can display the results on a map, which is nice, or in a list view. And if you are I'm on my computer, if you are on a touch device, you can swipe these with your finger to go from one listing to another. And it's a good interface, and it's GPS enabled, so you can click nearby and find properties nearby. In fact, in this search function, if you click that, it'll bring up the nearest city, nearest zip, nearest neighborhood, and you can choose from there. Or you can do a radius search or just a nearby search. But so it's a good product, but what people don't like about it is that if you have DS Search Agent embedded on your website and somebody visits that page with a mobile device, they will be force redirected to this mobile solution. And that may or may not be what you want. Maybe you have DS Search Agent, as I do, on neighborhood pages where I have content where I'd like the users to be able to read this content. But if they land on that page with a mobile device, they'll be force redirected to this search option. So that's a negative. I found a workaround around that, but as it stands out of the box, it's not maybe the ideal situation. It is a mobile solution, but perhaps not the best one. And one more improvement I like to see on Search Agent. Like I said, I've always liked to see a map search where you can look visually on the list at the same time as the map on the right. But these photo thumbnails are way too small for this day and age. If you look at this compared to the Curaytor map that I reviewed earlier, look at these thumbnails on the right. Nice, large photos. That's what we need to see in this day and age. When you compare this to Search Agent, it makes Search Agent look dated, and really all they need to do is make these photos larger like this, and then it's a much more attractive interface. Just my opinion. Okay, next on the list is IDX Broker, and so here's a company using IDX Broker, and starting initially here, this is their basic search form, which I hate to say looks a bit dated and not very attractive. And if I click Advanced Search, it just adds more stuff to choose from. To me, not an attractive interface, not intuitive, a lot of stuff to throw at somebody. But on this video, we're mostly focusing on the map search. So let's take a look at that. And to me, this again looks a little dated. It's a small size map. I'd like it to, I like a map that's full screen or utilizes most of your screen real estate. And this doesn't do that. It does update as you pan around or zoom in. It updates automatically. I like that. You don't have to click refine search or anything like that. But now let's take a look at your criteria. You can put in some price range, and that updates automatically. And what else do we, okay. And this wasn't initially intuitive to me. I didn't see the other options, but clicking on the search does give you, okay, you can select another city there. It does give you the options to put in your bedrooms and baths, property types, square foot, days listed, or jump to a particular city. And okay, so it looks like after you put those filters in, then you have to click refresh. So those filters don't update automatically. Let's see what this does. Don't know what that does. I guess that's just the open and close for that filter pane. So no option that I can see to display properties in a photo list along with a map. It's just strictly a map search. And hovering over the icons doesn't cut it. You got to click over them. And let's see if this is responsive. I had always heard IDX Broker. I know the results are responsive. I'm not sure about their map. Doesn't look like that's a responsive view. Well, now let's take a peek. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe if I switch the user agent to iPad or iPhone. Let's see what you get there. So nothing seems to be happening there. So let me go back. There. All right, refreshing. I got the user agent set to iPhone. Then you get a mobile-friendly view, but this appears to be the regular search form. If I switch this to map search, I get nothing. So looks to me like the map search is not mobile-friendly. And let's just see, searching on their basic search form. There you get a mobile-friendly view. I would like to see larger photos than that in the results. and clicking to a detail view, then you get a nice view there. Photo gallery gives you a nice color box view, and that's touch friendly. Of course, you've got calls to action. So it's a mobile responsive, mobile friendly design on the basic search, but not the map search. Well, what happened again? I just clicked new search. Let me hit refresh. So not sure what the issue is there. Let's try this. That goes back to the results. New search, every time I hit new search it disappears. Just go back here. Anyway, let me go back to default user agent on the computer and go back to this map search. So again, no option to view a list of listing photos along with the map. No option to have a larger map. So I think not real happy with that. But once you get to the detail page, not so bad here. You do have the previous and next property options. Modify the search, save the property. Still, to me, a bit dated, not quite as attractive as some of the other IDXs I've reviewed so far. Let's see, we have description, features. Every time I click that, it scrolls up underneath the menu. So I have to scroll it back down. Mortgage calculator. Oh, that takes you away from the listing. Save property, request more info, schedule showing. They're all text links. I think icons or buttons, would be a little bit more intuitive, maybe better calls to action. It does have a contact button here for more info. But to me, not real attractive, and the map search itself, not so user friendly. Definitely no options to do radius searches or polygon searches or area boundary searches, anything like that. It's just a very basic search on a small map. So not saying that IDX Broker isn't a good product. It's indexable. It might get you a lot of Google action. But since this video we're focusing on the map search, not one of the better ones in my opinion. So the next one here is Onjax, and Onjax is also not an IDX that you just plug into your own site. It's their own proprietary platform, which includes a website and IDX and a back-end lead management system. And so this is one of their sites. They have a couple different styles, or several different styles. This one looks relatively new. Kind of looks like a Boomtown site a little bit with the 3 circular images there, and then the search box. But let's go ahead and jump into the map search. So first of all, it's a large screen. Takes up the full width of your screen, and you can even hit full screen here and get even a little more of your screen real estate used up. And sort of similar to DS Search Agent, on the left here you have where you can type in a location, city, subdivision, county, or zip. Or to zoom in on the map, or to use the map as a live map search, you have to select that tab, or you can put in an MLS number. And it's got the sliders, also sort of similar to Diverse Solutions.
but no option to type in the price or the beds or baths or square feet. But the slider works well enough, and it updates live over here on the right, also like diverse solutions. And the presentation it's very nice. Over here, you got some features that are sort of similar to Redfin. If you have a group of listings in one area, too many to display, it just displays a number, and then you click on that, and it zooms in and shows you more listings. Um, and of course, you can do your beds and baths over here as well. And same kind of deal. You have your three basic filters above the fold, and then additional features below that you can narrow down. In your results, you can either display it on a map, or in a list, or in a grid view. But there's no option to display a visual list as well as a map at the same time. And as you know, that's one of my preferences. A lot of the other map searches have that. I like that, being able to scroll through the list and also see where it is on the map simultaneously. You don't have that option with Onjax. You have to choose one or the other of these three layout views. Still, not the end of the world. And you can even hide this search bar and get the full screen of map if you want. And same deal, where you just hover over it. You don't have to click on them, just hover, and immediately the thumbnail pops up. I like that. And when you click on one, you get the detail view. Now this is kind of the best of both worlds in that it's a map search, but it's also an indexable product that works together, as opposed to the diverse solutions, which you have a map or the indexable, but they don't really work together. So when I clicked on that listing, I'm actually getting an indexable IDX, or listing view. As you can see, it's got the SEO friendly URL with the address and everything in there, and you have the SEO friendly title tags and header tags and everything you need to make the Google bots happy. And you can also toggle from one listing to the next very easily. Okay, now this is a forced registration here. A lot of forced registrations I don't like. This one is pretty good because you still see the basics of the listing, and you still see the thumbnails, but you can't view those unless you register. So it's a very compelling proposition to try to get visitors to register. And of course, they can still go back to the search if they don't want to register right away. They can still use the search, and they're not forced to register until they start looking at details again. And they can even page through some of the basics until they see something that's compelling enough that, well, this one I want to see more about, so then they'll go ahead and log in. As opposed to some of the other forced registrations, it pops up, you can't do anything else on the site. You either sign up or you leave, and so a lot of people just decide to leave. This one, it keeps you engaged. If you don't want to sign up right away, you can still look at stuff, and eventually, hopefully, they'll find something that they want to sign up for to see the more details. So I'll go ahead and do that. And once signed in, you get the full details. It's got very clear calls to action. You can favorite a property or unfavorite it and inquire about a property. The photo viewer is pretty decent. I would like to have an option to click it and get even a larger photo view, but that's not an option. And you can toggle between photos or the map view or mortgage calculator, and that's all good. More detailed down here in tabs. On the right, similar listings, which are also indexable, which gives more spider food to the Google bots. It's also good for users, but it also helps the Googlebots find more listings and index them on your website. So that's smart. Again, like I said, you can toggle previous and next to the next listings, and you can also go back to the map search. And so that's something I like. You know, I talked about before. I don't know why this isn't working now. I think let me switch back to live map. Once you put the parameters in, my parameters must have got kicked out when I signed in. Let's pick some listings. Okay, now I got it again. I got the previous and next buttons, so I could toggle through the list and go back to the search at any time, and then it keeps my parameters in there. So I like that rather than having to click a listing, click back to the map every time. I can just go through the list if I want to do that, and then go back to the map when I'm ready for it. So I think it's an attractive solution here. It's a good map search, full screen. It couples your live map search with an indexable product, and it's very easy to use, very fast. The only thing I would like to see is an option where you have a list view alongside the map, and mobile friendliness. It's responsive to a point. I think the idea is that anything from a iPad up, it's going to respond. But smaller than that, what it does is it goes off your user agent. Let's say you go to an iPhone, and it'll redirect you to a mobile version. So, which is fine. You're still on your URL. It's not redirected off of your site, so your content is still there. If people want to go read your content, they can still do that. So that's a little better than the diverse solutions, the way they handle their mobile on the search agent, where it actually redirects you off of your site, which is not the ideal situation. And looking at this on a simulated iPhone, it looks pretty good. It works well. You can go to a larger viewer, close out of the photos. You got your calls to action, you got your map, you got your details, and you can go back, start a new search, and go from there. So it's a good product. I like it. Just a few things I'd like to see differently. Of course, it's a little more expensive than some of your other IDX solutions, but it does include your website and your hosting and your back end, so you have to factor that into account as well. Okay, next up is Placester. Placester's been getting a lot of buzz lately, but frankly, they really don't have a map search for agents or brokers right now. Let's take a look at what they do have. This is one of their themes. And look at the search bar here. Already, to me, this doesn't make any sense. The field here is street address. It's not. To me, it should be a location like city, neighborhood, zip code, something like that, community. Because if it's street address, what's the point of having bedrooms, bathrooms, minimum price, and maximum price? If you're searching for a particular listing, let's say this one Lindell Court, Boston, Massachusetts, then it is only the bedrooms and baths and the price that it is. What's the point of having a street address and filters for bedrooms, baths, and price? Makes no sense to me. And if you are using filters here, you should be able to put in a location like city, zip, neighborhood, etc. So already the search form doesn't make sense to me, and probably wouldn't to a user. So let me just go ahead and hit search and see what happens. And you got some results here, and no option to display on a map. And now, once I get to the second step, now I can select neighborhood, city, and go from there.
So to me, that's totally counterintuitive. I don't know why they did it that way. And there is no map search at all. Now, they're kind of famous for having very nice responsive designs. It responds nicely to different screen sizes, and it all looks good, but no map search. Now, I was contacted by a PR person for Placester, and he says that they have a map search for publisher websites. For example, this is the Connecticut House Hunter site, which is run by the Connecticut Post newspaper. And he says these publisher sites have a map search capability, but not the agent broker websites. I don't know why that is, and that's really not good news for agents and brokers. But let's take a look at their map search for publisher sites. So this is in Connecticut. So let me start typing in, say, Stamford, Connecticut. And you get some autocomplete suggestions that don't make any sense to me. It's not just an autocomplete for, the city of Stamford. It's, okay, how about Stamford, Connecticut, 4-bedroom from 659 to 815? What? Or Stamford, Connecticut, 3-bedroom, 432 to 545. Now, why? Those to me are completely nonsensical autocomplete suggestions. So I'll just ignore those. I'll go to search and then refine from there. So you've got different result views here. A gallery where you've got properties in a grid and then a little map on the right, or you can do a card layout or a list layout, or go to a full map. So let's say I want to look at Stamford. Let me zoom in on Stamford, see what happens. Nothing. So again, this is not really a map search. It's the ability to plot search results on a map. It's not, I can't search by map. The map doesn't update to where I'm zooming in. It's not a live map search. So I'd have to type in Stamford, and again I get the weird autocomplete suggestions, but I'm just going to type Stamford and hit search. All right, I guess I'm in Stamford now. I can start zooming in, and let's say I want to refine my bedrooms and baths. And I can see in the background the results are updating, or the map is updating. And hit search. So I can't actually zoom into an area and have the results narrow down. And I can't pick a different area. It's going to be confined to what I have in here, which is Stamford. And you have to click the markers to get a thumbnail. Hovering over it doesn't do anything. And I could look at a detail from there. And again, it's an attractive display once you get on the detail page, and it's responsive to smaller screens somewhat. Looks like the walk score is not really responsive. But like I said, it's not really a map search. It's just the ability to plot search results on a map. I can't really use the map to define my search. And it's not available for agents. It's only on the map at all is only available for publishers, publishing sites. So to me, Placester's got a lot of work to do if they want to provide a good map search experience to real estate agents and brokers. Now, the Curaytor sites, they apparently use the Placester feed for their products, and they have an excellent map search. So if you want to use the Placester backbone, I suppose, if you want to say that, on an attractive match search or map search, then go with Curaytor. But of course, that's a lot more expensive. But off the shelf, Placester really doesn't have a workable map search. Now there is, I'll post a link on the article. There is a way that you can add a map on your Placester site with a short code, and it'll plot the results on a map. But again, it's not a search by map at all.
So next up is Real Estate Webmasters, and here's an example of one of their 2013 websites. As always, an attractive interface here. And let's jump into a search here. Now, searching the way I did, you don't really get a map search. You get a list of results, and then you can change the price. And nothing happens automatically when you change the price. You have to hit refine search, and then those search results refine. And you can show the results on the map, but you can't actually search by map. And to me, a map search is when you can actually zoom in and search by map. And you can do that. You just have to go about it a different way. But just looking at it this way, you can't like hover over a listing down here and see where it is on the map or anything like that. So the way to actually get to the map search is here, search by map, and that's what I really want to look into. And so this is the way you can zoom in. You can do a polygon search. And again, even with that, it doesn't immediately eliminate all the listings. You have to hit refine search for that effect to take change, or for that change to take effect, excuse me. And let's say you want to change prices. Well, where is that? Let me start scrolling down here. Scroll, 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 scroll. Oh, here's the price range. So to me, price range should be one of the top search options. Isn't that your most important thing? Location, price, then beds and baths. Those are all the way at the bottom here. But let's go ahead and plug those in. And again, nothing happens until you hit refine search. And of course, I got too tight of an area in, but let me go ahead and X out that polygon. Zoom back out. Again, nothing updates automatically. I have to hit refine search again. Okay. Similar to the Onjax and the Redfin, when there's too many listings in an area, you get an icon with a number on it. You click on it and it zooms in more. Also, this is similar to Onjax in that it's not just an IDX that you plug into any old website. It's their own proprietary platform where you end up buying their website and their IDX, and you get the hosting. It's all together. So again, it's more expensive than IDX, but it's an all-in-one package. So you do have the different map views over here, and you have some map statistics, which are nice. Click to get rid of those. And now let's look at a listing detail view. Oh, yeah, see, that's another thing. So hovering over the icons gets you nothing. Well, now it is coming up. Okay. Because earlier I clicked, and clicking on the icon doesn't get you to the detail view. You actually have to click again on view details. So bringing up a detail view, as always, REW, their stuff is very attractive. And let's see here. Oh, you can click all photos to get a larger color box view of the photos. And it's responsive all the way down to a smartphone view. Your menu reverts to a mobile-friendly menu. And you got all the details here. You got the map down at the bottom. Get directions, that's kind of cool. And your contact form. And calls to action there to either ask about the property or share it or favorite it. Now this is interesting. On the mobile view, you can select next and previous. But on the full-size view, well, yes you can. That's good too. I was mistaken. I thought you couldn't do that. In fact, let me check something here. So I think that's an update. Previously, when I looked at REW sites, if I started the search via map and looked at a detail view, I had to go back to results to find another listing. Now this one, now you can go previous and next, which I like that. What I would like to see is, again, the ability to see the results on a list at the same time as the map. And there's no option to do that in a sense to where you can hover over a list view and see where that property is on the map quickly. You have that other option where you, through the home page, where you can have your results and map at the same time, but they're not interconnected to where you can hover over a listing and see where it is on the map. And again, this is not the search by map, that's just your search results with a map displayed. In your actual search by map, you don't have the ability to have a list view and a map view at the same time. And we talked about the mobile responsiveness on a detail view. Now let's look at the responsiveness on a map view. It also responds all the way down to a smartphone size screen very nicely. So kudos again here. One of the few map searches that's responsive down to a smartphone size screen. Looks very nice. Of course, the downside on REW sites is they're very expensive. At least this particular template is very expensive. They do have some lower cost options. But again, you're getting all-in-one hosting, IDX, and a back-end for your lead management. So a very attractive system. What I'd like to see that it doesn't have are, I'd like for the map to update live when I change. First of all, I think they should have the price, bedrooms and baths up top. And then I'd like for the map to update live when I change those results. And I'd like to be able to see listing results in a list at the same time as a map. I'd also like to see neighborhood boundaries, school district boundaries, zip code boundaries, all the things that HomeQuest has, but pretty much nobody else has that either. Maybe some more search options here, other features, perhaps search by walk score. Even if you don't have the school boundaries, I'd like to be able to type in a school name and get all the properties in that school district. Maybe that's an option, but I don't see it here now. It might be something you have to pay to add on. And it does have a search by radius. That's nice, and it's actually a little more intuitive than the diverse solutions one, where you have to type in an address, unless of course you know the address and you don't know where it's located. In that sense, that might be better. And the diverse solution ones does have the option to do the radius from your current location, and the browser figures out the location for you. So that's kind of slick too. But at least this has the option. And so like I said, overall, very nice, very attractive. Just those few critiques that I had, things that I'd like to see added. So next up is RealGeeks, and let's take a look at their map search. Um, to get to it, it's really not a map search, just to be honest. It's you can use your criteria here and you can plot the results on a map, but it's not really a search by map. And I'll show you why. So if you're here and you wanted to do search by map, well, probably the first thing you do would be click map search. Maybe you don't know the names of the areas, or maybe you don't, we talked about the problem earlier where different neighborhoods in different cities have the same name. So you want to use them, instead of picking a city or a neighborhood off the list, you want to zoom in on the map. So you click map search and you start zooming in where you want. And you've got a little check mark here, which is checked by default, which says map activity update search. Great. So that's what I want to do. I want to zoom in to the area that I want, and I want it to update. Couple things. First of all, it's a little slow. You see this moving icon here. Every time it updates, it takes a little longer than I would have hoped. And also, in my opinion, just the overall look of it is a bit dated. The look of the icons, you got, it does have what I like, having the list view on the left at the same time as the map on the right. But these thumbnails are super tiny. I do like, being able to hover over it and it shows up where the location is right over on the right. I like that. But just the overall look, I think, looks dated. So let's say I get into the area that I want. Now I want to narrow down the price and bedrooms, baths, etc. So how do I do that? Okay, so I click Refine Search. Brings me back to this unattractive filtering system, in my opinion. And pick some pricing. Now I go back to map search. Well, look at that. It does not keep the geographical area that I zoomed into. So there is no refine by search or refine your search by map. It really is not a map search. So not impressed with this at all. Sorry to say. I know a lot of people love RealGeeks and they say it brings in a lot of leads for them, and really that may be the most important thing for you. But from a user perspective, the map search, in my opinion, is subpar. And to me, I mean, everybody has different ideas on how to get leads. If you're doing forced registration and you want as many signups as possible, a lot of people say RealGeeks is real good at that. And maybe it is. Depends on, obviously, on the traffic you're getting. But to me, if you give the user a good user experience, they're going to come back more often and they're going to be more willing to work with you. Having 100 signups a day, well, that may be good, but it gives you 100 people to try to follow up with, and what percentage of those are going to convert to closings versus somebody who actually asks you to contact them or contacts you specifically about a specific property. To me, those are the leads that are more likely to close. And if you don't give the people a good user experience, they might sign up to see the details on one property, but they're probably not going to come back, and they're probably not going to respond to your follow-up inquiries. Just my opinion. Now, mobile responsiveness, is it mobile friendly? Let's take a peek. Let me resize the browser here. Nope, doesn't seem to be mobile friendly at all. So not responsive on the map view. Now let's take a look at a detail view. Also not responsive there, mobile responsive there. Um, so a lot to work on, in my opinion, to get a modern, responsive map search that actually works, which in my opinion this doesn't. A quick addendum here about RealGeeks. I wasn't completely fair to them regarding their mobile friendliness. There's a couple ways to do mobile friendliness. One is responsive design, which where the website responds to the screen size, and this is not that, but the other option is a user agent sniffer, where the website determines what the user is using, like a smartphone or a tablet, and when it sees that the user is using a smartphone, then it presents a different presentation to that user, and that's what RealGeeks does. Let me just get a well, actually, I'll just let's first let me move it to a smart screen size, and then I'm going to change my user agent here. Excuse me. So let's change my user agent to an iPhone, and you'll see that the site changes. Well, it does on a detail view at least. Let me go to the home page here. There we go. Now that's your mobile friendly design there, and it actually works pretty well. So, and I've tried this on my iPhone. It looks very nice, works very well. It doesn't really have a map view that's mobile friendly. If I click map view, all it does is go back to the non-mobile friendly map, which looks terrible on the iPhone screen. But the rest of it works pretty well. There's a detail view. So it is mobile friendly except for the map view, and so I just wanted to add that correction. Okay, next on the list is SpotOn Connect, and this is a company I've been keeping an eye on. I saw them a while back and thought it was it looked good, and each time I go back and look at them again, it looks a little better. They've added more features, and the first time I looked at them, they didn't have a map search, and now, as you can see, they do. And so let's take a peek at this. First of all, you got up at the top, you can do a autocomplete search. Start typing in an area and you get the autocomplete suggestions. So that's an option. And you can also do what I like to do, just zoom in on the map. And as you get drilled down, you'll see this number up here update to the number of properties in that given area. Now you have a couple of, actually 3 different view options. It starts off with a split view with the map on the right and the list of properties on the left, or you can just do a full gallery where you just have the photos of the properties, or you can do a full page map. And as you know, I like having the visual list of photos as well as the map at the same time. Now I would like to see in this view, I'd like the map to be a little larger. I do like the nice large size thumbnail photos, but I'd like the map to be a little larger in this view. You know, I hate to keep going back to Curaytor, but look at the way theirs is. Nice big large map and the nice big large photo thumbnails. So my suggestion would be either to offer an option to have just a single file list of properties that would make, that would allow more room for the map to be larger. Or perhaps over here you have some filtering information. Maybe you could have a button that could hide this panel, moving it over to the left, allowing a little more space for the map, and that could be toggled in and out as necessary. Just a personal preference. But other than that, I mean, it's a very good looking set, all around. And now, as I had previously discussed, the reason I like having a visual list view of the property photos on the same screen as the map is because I like to be able to hover over these listings and immediately see where they are located on the map. Well, we don't have that kind of interconnectivity on this SpotOn IDX here. So that is a little bit of a disappointment to me. You have a list of properties here on the left. Well, how do these properties relate to those on the right? Well, obviously I guess these properties are in this area, but I can't tell immediately where these properties are on the map by hovering over the list, because I think a lot of people like to pick a property by what's visually attractive to them, but then without viewing the details, like to quickly see where that property is on the map, and we can't really do that here. So that's a functionality that I'd like to see improved. But let's go ahead and take a look at the detail view. And of course you can do it one of two ways. You can click on the list, or over here on the map. Again, you don't have the ability to just hover over and get a thumbnail, which I'd like to see. You do have to click on each listing, and then the thumbnail will populate. And look at a detail view here. It's a nice, attractive detail view, and you do immediately get, alongside to the right of the photo, a map, showing where it's located. So let's just go back real quick. So if you did pick it off the list, you would be able to see very quickly where it is located on the map. And so that sort of alleviates some of the frustration I had with not being able to just hover over the list and see where it is on the map. At least when you do get the detail, you immediately see the map as well. You got a decent photo viewer, decent size already, and then you can choose to view the photos even larger, and very nice looking photo viewer. Now see what other kind of details we have here. Well, let's scroll down first, see what there is. You got the description, you have a contact form for call to action, you have sharing options, and then you can toggle over on these tabs to more detailed information and which school districts that you're zoned for. And it does have the ability to go to the next property without having to go to the map, back to the map again. I always like that, because once you get zoomed into your geographical area that you like, then you might want to be able to toggle quickly. Looks like I went too far on that list. But let's go back to a detail view here. And this is an indexable product. I'm going to bring this tab down into the viewable area so you can see the URL is SEO friendly, has the MLS number and the address in the URL, and your title tag here is also SEO friendly, having the address in there, and you got your H1 tag. So everything that the Googlebot needs and would like to see to get you good indexing. You also have the option to save to favorites, and you can also do that from the list view without even viewing the details. You can click the star and save that to your list of favorites. And I really like visually how these are displayed. And let me see if I can find you some new listings, and you'll see Yeah, see the new banner there? So I like the whole layout here. You got the new banner, you have the star to save to favorites, you have the number of photos, you got the price there, and your address, bedrooms, bath, and square footage. You get a lot of information before you even view the detail view, and it's in a very attractive layout. And for filters, obviously you have up here your bedrooms and bathrooms, price range. Click more options. You can get your square footage. This one is not labeled. I don't know what that is, but I don't know if that's acreage or what. But I'm guessing you can choose which options you have up here for filters. I'll have to check with SpotOn about that. Time on market there. It'd be nice if you had more options here too. He's assuming that you're only going to want to see newer properties. You might want to see properties that have been on the market for over 6 months. Maybe those are the ones that are going to be more negotiable. Maybe that's what you're looking for. So a little more options on the time on market, but at least you have that capability. A lot of IDXs don't even have that time on market option. And you have other filters over here on the left. And let's say you want to narrow down further. You can narrow down by property status. Well, I only want to see the active ones. I only want to see residential properties. And whatever you select comes up here, which is nice. And you can later X those out if you want to get rid of them. Let's say, okay, I only want to be in the Queen Anne area. And you got the subdivisions. Everything that is within this view or within this map area is displayed here, zip codes, and so to allow you to refine even further your search. So I think that's a very nice search experience. Now let's talk about mobile friendliness. The SpotOn IDX here, it's fully responsive, mobile responsive. And let's take a look at that. Remember here you have the 3 views here. Keep that in mind because that's going to come into play here on a mobile smartphone view. You've got a split view, a gallery view, and a map view. Okay. Now it's defaulted on split, which is I like. But now let's see how that looks on a mobile device. As we scroll down here to a smaller screen size, as you can see, these photos on the left are getting smaller to accommodate the smaller screen size. And once the screen size gets too narrow, it changes that double column into a single column smartly. And as we get even smaller, at some point it decides, well, I can't maintain that split view. And it just goes to a map only. Now, you can change that, but if you were in this view, now I happen to have this down when I was changing the screen size, but that starts by default. It starts in the up position. Let's take a look back again. If you have this, closed, and you go down to a smaller screen size, those search filters are hidden. So it may not be readily apparent to the user that they can toggle this view. They may think they only have a map view, but you can actually choose your view right here. And I might suggest that that view selector be made available right here so you don't have to bring down those search options, just so the user knows that other view options are available. Just a suggestion. And you can toggle between 2 different views. Now these icons on this view seem to be mislabeled. This was the split view icon on the full screen, and this was a gallery view on the full screen. But here on the smartphone view, this one appears to be the map view, and this appears to be the list view. So I would think those icons might need to be changed, but minor quibble, because this is a very nice looking mobile friendly responsive design, both with the map or with the list view. So kudos again to SpotOn Connect, being one of the few IDX providers that have successfully made a map search that's responsive in a very nice presentation, both on a smart screen and on a full-size computer, a smartphone screen, I should say. And let's see how it were to work if I wanted to use this autocomplete search. First of all, you can do a location like city zip or neighborhood, or school district, which you'll see in a second, or you can search for an individual property by the address or the MLS number. So those are good options. And so I noticed you can search by the public school, which is nice. So let's say I want to be in this school district here. And immediately you'll see this churn and the map update to that area. And then you can refine your bedrooms and baths. And each time you change that parameter, the map automatically and the results automatically update. You don't have to click search or refine search or anything like that. As soon as you make those changes, the results change automatically. Oops, probably won't be anything that cheap. But so I think I like that a lot. It's a very intuitive interface and a very attractive interface. Oh, and I forgot to show you when I did have the mobile smartphone view open, what it looks like on a detail view. So there's your detail view on a simulated smartphone. And this I like. Click to call about this property. When you're on your smartphone, if you tap that, it pops up with the phone number. So one click, the user can or call you about that property. So that's a very good call to action. The map is down here. And again, you have the extended information, the school information, save to favorites, next, and click back brings you right back to the results. So it's a very user-friendly interface, both on a computer and on a smartphone. I mean, yeah, smartphone or a computer. Now let me show you some other things that SpotOn has. Let's say you have a community landing page. I've got neighborhood pages for all the major neighborhoods in my area, and you can do that. And sorry, I got cut off by my screencast video software, but I was just finishing off the final feature here of SpotOn Connect, and this is an example neighborhood landing page, and you can create these community pages in WordPress. You can put anything here that you can put in WordPress: text, photos, videos, whatever. And then below that, you can embed, presumably with a shortcode, these IDX listings. And this page itself is also mobile responsive. You'll see this double column will revert to a single column when it gets too narrow, and you'll still have an attractive view on smartphones. And so it's a good landing page for neighborhoods. The thing I don't like about it is, let's say you jump in and you want to view this listing. It's going to bring you away from the neighborhood page and to that listing detail page, and here you don't have the previous and next buttons that you had on the map search or the back button. So if you want to view a sequence of listings in this neighborhood, you're going to have to view a detail, hit the back page, go back to the neighborhood, view to the next detail, and click back and forth. So it's not as intuitive is getting down, and you're not going to be able to refine. Let's say, okay, these are all the houses in this neighborhood, but I want to see the ones between 400 and 500,000. You got what order are these in? These presumably are in time on market, or the newest first, but that's not how most people want to search. They want to refine. I want to see all the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 400 to 500,000. Well, these are all different orders here. I don't see an option to sort in this format. And plus, so when you get down and you want to view several in a row, it's not going to be the most intuitive way to do that. So, you could do a workaround and include a button or a link in this content and link that person over to the property search with those search results, which is going to give you a better search experience for the user. But let's be honest, most users, when they land on this page, they're going to go right down here and start clicking on properties, and they're not going to be able to refine their search or click from one property to another without going back to this page. So if there were a way to change this sort order, refine the search, and view a sequence of properties from the neighborhood landing page, then you'd have the perfect neighborhood landing page. But overall, I really like the product. Let me just mention, my list of critiques, and then I'll wrap it up. And what it doesn't do, it doesn't have, of course, the visual neighborhood boundaries or zip code boundaries or school boundaries like the HomeQuest does, but again, nobody else does either. But it also doesn't have, a lot of map searches have a polygon search where you can draw any shape you wanted, or a radius search. Those are a couple things that I think it should definitely have. And then, of course, I mentioned I don't like that there's no interconnectivity between the list and the map. But other than that, it's a very good product. And when you see the price that they're charging compared to some of these other expensive mapping IDXs, this will definitely, show up on your radar as one of the top considerations out there, I think. Go ahead and check it out. I'll put the link in the article.
So next is Cirrus IDX, which is a product of a company called One Park Place. And the best looking website that I know that uses Cirrus is Good Life Team. So I'm on their website, and this is the map search. And I kind of think it's a little unattractive. Not a big fan of these little icons. It just looks a little dated to me, but it's got some great features that I really like, and the main one is the search by boundary. And this is at the beginning. I showed you the One IDX HomeQuest, which has the boundaries. And other than that, this is, I think, the only other one that I know of that has the built-in boundaries for neighborhoods, school districts, city zip codes. And I'll show you how that works. You just click here, and you can begin to type the name of a neighborhood. I don't happen to know any in where we are. All right, downtown San Marcos. Apply, and there's your boundary for that neighborhood. Guess there doesn't happen to be any listings there right now. Let's try school districts. Oops. Try that again. These look to me like check marks, but when you click it, it deletes that, so that's a little bit counterintuitive, but anyway. So there's the boundary for that particular, for the San Marcos Consolidated Independent School District. So that's very cool. I like that. You do the same thing for zip codes and city boundaries. And again, it's one of the very few that do that. Now, it's not as good in my opinion as the HomeQuest, because you've got to type it in, you got to know the name of it, and then it brings up that boundary. But what you can't do is say, well, what's the next boundary? What's the next school district over here, or zip code over there, or neighborhood over there? That's one thing that HomeQuest allowed you. It had all the boundaries on the entire map, and then you could just mouse around, highlight them, and choose the one you want. So it's not as good as that, but it's still better than most. I mean, this is like I said, there's only one of two IDX I know that can do neighborhood boundaries like this. Now you can choose. Okay, first of all, let me click the list view over here. So again, you can get the map view and the list at the same time, which I always like. And when you hover over it, it looks like it's trying to bring up a thumbnail over here, but we're getting an indication that the graphic that it's trying to bring up is not loading. You can see something loading on these icons to the right, or trying to load, but it's not loading. So a little of an issue there. But over on the map view, every time you move it slightly, it's got to reload. Over on the map view, you can hover over it. It takes a second or two, but it brings up a thumbnail and a preview of the details. And also, you can bring up, if you don't like the map view, you can bring up a gallery view as well. So that gives people an option. And here's a detail view of a property. Again, to me, it looks a little bit outdated. But it's got everything you need. It's got your calls to action. You can look at the overview, photos, a little bit of this is like an iframe here. It looks like the frame is too small. I can't scroll down below this bottom of this picture here. Like same on the overview, it says features. Okay, let me get to those features. Well, I can't scroll down any lower than that. So I don't know if this has something to do with if GoodLife improperly framed in this IDX, or if there's some other problem here. But that's a bit of an issue. I can view the photos, 3/4 of it at least, but that bottom portion is cut off. Of course, I can click the map, get an aerial or hybrid view or a road view, and get the contact information or contact form. So this is very similar to diverse solutions in the fact that it's got the map on the right and the list on the left that are interconnected. In my opinion, the diverse solution is a little more attractive looking, looks a little more updated. But in the same way, One Park Place has the map search, which is not indexable, but then they have a separate product that's indexable. So they cover both bases, but not with the same product. It's not quite an all-in-one solution. Another thing I don't like quite as good as I like about the diverse solutions is on the list here, I can just keep scrolling down. It's got like an infinite scroll where I could keep scrolling down. This one just shows the first 5 or so, and then I have to click next and wait for them to load. And I feel like the loading of everything on here is slower than the diverse solutions product. But they do have, the thing I like the most is these boundaries. These things here refine your search. It's a little bit not that intuitive to me. I mean, it's intuitive, but it's not that attractive. The way it brings up a separate dialog box here for me to refine my search, and the way it takes quite a while, I think, for the properties to load. It's not that bad. It's better than the IDX Pro that I previously reviewed. Faster than that, to me, not quite as fast as the diverse solutions, and not quite as attractive, and not responsive. Well, but neither is the diverse product. But both of them do have a separate product that's indexable and that's more mobile friendly. So since we're concentrating on the map search here, I think it's a good map search. The boundaries are the best thing they got going here. Pretty much nobody else has that other than HomeQuest. HomeQuest does a little better. I would like it's a decent sized map here. It'd be nice to have a full screen option that there's not, but it's worth looking at. And I went to their website, and it looks like they might be having something new coming soon. So we'll keep an eye on that. Go back to that later. Maybe they'll be improving this. Looks like they're coming out with maybe an all-in-one product here. But a decent map search and worth taking a look at, in my opinion. All right, so this is iHomeFinder, and this is their map search. A decent size map here. I like the icons. They're attractive icons. They have a separate icon for single-family homes versus condos. If you're in an area where there's multiple homes, they have an icon like this. Allows you to zoom in. When you hover over the icons, you get a price. That's nice. It would be a little nicer if you got a full thumbnail and preview of the details, but you do get that when you click on it. And up here you can type in a location. And a suggestion pops up that'll center on that location. And that happened pretty quickly and automatically. And when I put in the price, I can put in a price here. That doesn't update automatically, but it updates after I click search here. So there's no option to have a list view and a map view simultaneously. It's just strictly a map search, and you don't get any preview of what a property looks like until you click on it. I think I've said a number of times before, I like map searches where you can see the list and the map at the same time, and they're interconnected, because where a property is located is important, but also people want to see what the property looks like, while they're browsing, and you don't get to do that on here until you actually click on it. And again, not the end of the world, but to me, not the optimal. It's responsive. It's not responsive, I should say. Changing the screen width doesn't do anything. And let's look at a detail view. And to me, it's a little dated. It doesn't look that modern to me. Let's see, view larger photos. Decent size photo viewer. This again is not responsive. So, to me, it's just kind of a basic map search. Not my favorite, to be honest. Okay, next on the list is Showcase IDX, and this product is fairly new, and it's pretty attractive, I think. You start with a map. You can zoom in on it. The properties update, the icons update as you zoom in. The icons or the property markers are the price themselves, which is nice. That's one thing I haven't really thought about. I just did a little survey of some of my clients and asked them what they thought of our map search, and one of them said, and I have diverse solutions, and one of them mentioned that, well, you have to hover over the icon to get the price, and some other, like Zillow, I think the prices are right on the icons, and this is like that as well. So you can easily see, without doing anything,
what the price are. Now, when you click on them, when you hover over them, nothing happens. So it would be cool if you hovered over it and a thumbnail popped up. But when you click on it, you get sort of a thumbnail here to the right. And after you've clicked on it, the one that's active is in green, and the ones you've clicked on previously are in gray. So as you're going through the map, you can see which ones you've already looked at. And the whole thing is responsive, mobile responsive. Let me show you that. Conforms to the width of the screen very nicely. Looks good on all screen sizes. So they did a nice job on that. Up here, this is pretty intuitive, I think, changing your bedrooms and your bathrooms and your price range. Really easy to do that. Types of properties. And as you make those changes, those results pop up on the map immediately. You don't have to put it all in and click a submit button or a go button. As you make those changes, the changes occur on the map live. I like that. Down below, you have a couple different options for list view. You basically have your basic list view, and you have a grid view, which I think looks very attractive. And that also responds. Notice it goes from 3 wide, and as you get to a narrower screen, it switches to 2 wide, and then eventually to 1 wide. So you're not just squishing down the 3 wide view to a tiny screen. It's actually adapting very well to the smaller screen widths. A couple of things I don't like. Really, you have a map and you have a list, but there's no interconnectivity between them, or I should, that hovering over a listing down here doesn't show you where it is on a map or anything like that. It's sort of two separate. Granted, these results and the map results are, what you have in here for criteria, but they're not really interconnected as far as interactivity. If you don't like the map as much, you can close it, make it up a smaller view, and see more of the thumbnails or the list or grid view. But it strikes me that having the top and bottom view here is not the ideal. Our screens on our computers are wider than they are tall. So if you're going to display two types of information, like a map and a list view, it stands to reason that you would display them left and right, not top to bottom. Because if you show them left and right, you can see both at the same time, a list and a map, which many of the other products I reviewed do that, like Diverse Solutions and the Curaytor, and a great number of other maps do that. Zillow does it, Boomtown does it. You have the list on the left or right, and then the map on the other part. So to me, that makes more sense than this layout. They sort of make up for it by having this little thumbnail on the right. So there you get to sort of view the map and a thumbnail at the same time, but only on the one that you're clicking on. You don't really get an option where you can scroll down a list and simultaneously see where that is on the map. This is pretty cool to me. You can mark things that you like, or you can, if you don't like it, you hit hide it. You don't have to ever see it again. So that's really great for the home buyer to start narrowing down what they want to buy. Now let's look at a detail view here. Again, to me it's quite attractive. Let's see, launch a large gallery, so good large screen photo viewer. Obviously, you've got your calls to action. You got a contact form there. You get your love it and hide it, and a map and a street view and all the other details. And it is responsive. When you go down to a smaller screen size, it adapts very nicely.
And it's got the what I like, the previous and next, because once you got your parameters set in, you got your price, you got your beds, your baths, your location, and now you just want to go through the listings. You can just click next and just keep clicking next to quickly go through the listings without having to go back to the map every time and pick out another listing. And I like that. And then if you do want to go back to the map to change your parameters, you can do that, or back to the search. So I really like this map search a lot. Except for, I like to see the left and right view of a list of properties, interconnected with the interactivity between that and the map. And then the other downside of this is it's not indexable. These listings are not indexable. It's kind of like Diverse Solutions DS Search Agent. Oops, I guess I have to sign up now. But it's sort of like an iframed product. So if you had this and you wanted indexable listings as well, you would need some other product. If you don't want indexable listings, then maybe this is for you. It would be great if this company somehow offered an indexable product, or made this an indexable product, or somehow, so that you could have best of both worlds. But as of right now, it's just a pretty good map search, and it looks like there's a polygon searching options too, which is pretty cool. And so I should also mention some more features up here. You can put in more criteria, and it used to be that the beds, baths, and price were sliders. I don't know if that's an option on the back end, or if they just changed it to this format. But either way, this looks nice as well. So anyway, that's Showcase. Great map search, fully responsive. Only major downside is not indexable.